Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mind of Mandy. This week does come with a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about miscarriages and loss of children, okay? Mainly focusing on miscarriages. So if you do not want to hear about this is your chance to go ahead and stop listening or watching. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Mind of Mandy. Yesterday, because I'm recording this on Monday, so yesterday was Mother's Day. And as usual, Mother's Day is actually really hard for me. I'm a cat mom. I own up to that. But I've had multiple miscarriages. I had them before I had my hysterectomy, and each one was very difficult. And there are things people said to me that are never okay. We'll repeat this for those who did not hear it. Never okay to say to someone who has just experienced a miscarriage. You may have the purest intentions, but it ain't come across the way you think. The biggest one that pisses me off is part of God's plan. What? No. For me, this is just coming from my experiences. What kind of sick, twisted God would do that? Like, for real. Part of God's plan, my ass. Part of God's plan was to get me excited about having a baby just to have it ripped away from me? To torture me emotionally and physically? That sounds more like Satan than God. Like, what the fuck, dude? That one, it really, really pisses me off. It does. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it doesn't. And to hear it said to other women, it's part of God's plan. No, don't ever. I don't care. I don't care. Don't ever say that. I don't care. Because that grieving woman who's grieving the loss of a child, having to hear, that's part of God's plan. All you're doing is making that woman sit there and have the same thoughts that I had. Fuck God if he's going to do that. What kind of God would do that to someone? Do it to a woman. Do it to a child. Like, no. Excuse you. You can see yourself the fuck out the door. The baby's in a better place. How is not being with the mother a better place? This kind of relates to the first you don't fucking say. Because that's assuming that the child is with whatever higher power you believe in, okay? I'm sorry, but the child would have been better with the mother. All the miscarriages I had, those children would have been better with me. Don't tell me that at least they're in a better place. No. The best place for that child would have been with its mother. Period. I don't care. Don't sit there and say that. At least it's in a better place. Because what you're saying to that mother's, we know you would have been a bad mother, so at least this child doesn't have to put up with a bad mother. Because that's what is being processed by that woman. If you're going to tell someone they're a bad mother, just fucking say, you're a bad mom, you shouldn't have had that kid. I'd have more respect for a person who said that than, at least the child's in a better place. No. Fuck you. It's for the best. Is it for the best? Do you know what's best for me? Do you know what's best for the child I couldn't carry? Do you know? Do you? I don't think so. And it comes back to, once again, you're telling her you'd be a bad mother. Yeah, no, it's not for the best. Fuck right off with that. So far we've covered part of God's plan. At least you're in a better place. And it's for the best. Yeah, we don't say those things to grieving mothers. Because no matter if that person has a physical child or spirit children because they couldn't carry children, that pain of losing a child never goes away. I was 16 when I lost my first child, and here I am, damn near 30 years later, still mourning that loss. That child would have been born in 98. So, 26 years. As I said, damn near 30. 26 years, and I'm still mourning the loss of that child, not including all the other miscarriages I've had. My body was never able to carry. And those things that I heard made me internalize guilt, like I had done something wrong. I was the problem. And you stack that on top of the fucking horrible things my mom would say to me. The last miscarriage I had was in 2012. And she happened to be visiting when I had this miscarriage. And this woman had the audacity to look at me and say, "That's what you get for being a godless whore." That was more respectable than when somebody else found out and be like, "Oh, it's part of God's plan." They both hurt equally, but at least one, I understood the intention. I understood that this person was being shitty to me on purpose. This person was being shitty to me while thinking they were being good. I mean, and you can't sit there and say, well, you have to take the intention at the heart. No. I was a grieving woman who had lost a pregnancy at 11 weeks. I was grieving. I was heartbroken. I was broken. To be told that. It's part of God's plan. The baby's in a better place. No, the baby should have been in my arms. That would have been the best place for that baby. Mm-mm. And so, yeah, dealing with things like that, women who have dealt with that, makes Mother's Day hard. It is easier for me to sit there and say I am childless by choice than go into why I don't have kids. Because then I have to hear all those things again. Yeah, I tried that. I tried explaining to people, oh, I just couldn't have babies. I had multiple miscarriages. I had one person even go so far to tell me that that was God's way of letting me know that I wasn't going to be a good mother. That's just what I wanted to hear. Am I comfortable with my life the way it is now? Very much so. But it still doesn't take away that pain I have of not having the children I should have had. And unless you've experienced that pain, it's impossible. It is impossible to explain to someone what that feels like. When I was with my ex-husband, we were trying to have children. And that I had never gotten past the 8-week mark. Now, the reason why I could tell is when I had periods, because I've had a hysterectomy, which means no more periods. When I had periods, they were we could plan my periods out for a year, and it'd be accurate. Like, that wasn't the issue. So if I was one day late, okay, maybe 2 days late, no, time for the test, and I never made it to 8 weeks. And that happened multiple times. And doctors kept telling me time and time and time again that they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's wrong. It turned out that I had I could be mispronouncing this, please forgive me, endometriosis, which is endometriosis tissue, but it's inside the uterus. and scar tissue inside the uterus. But no one would do any tests, and so I kept trying. That last pregnancy, I got to 11 weeks. I was like, oh shit, this one might stick. And then, miscarriage happened. And when went to the doctor to figure out what happened, my story is they found a grapefruit-sized ovarian cyst. Yeah. And then they're pretty sure that's what caused the miscarriage, because it was putting a lot of pressure on my uterus. Because at that point, it had already managed to cause torsion. By the time the insurance company approved the surgery, it was 8.5 pounds. And my ovary was back and behind my uterus. At that point, the doctor told me I had a 1 in 1 billion chance or something like that of ever having a baby. Okay. I mourned that loss then. But it did not keep me. That did not heal the wounds from all the previous losses. And to protect myself and my own heart, all the miscarriages I had before that 8-week mark, I never got attached. Because that happened. It happened at least 8 times. Yeah. The ones that haunt me are when I was 16, I had a miscarriage. That did result in having to have a D&C. I don't want to go in that story. It's very painful. I knew it was a little girl. Hang on, 3. So that one was painful. That was 98. In 2003, got pregnant. By the time I figured it out, I was 3-4 months along. Found out it was twins. And I had another miscarriage. Turned out it would have been identical twin boys. That was hard. And then the last one in 2012. Because those were the 3 which I got far enough along to actually have known what was going on. So technically I should have 4 kids. I have 4 cats! I'm a crazy cat mom. And to this day, when I tell people the truth, I get those platitudes that people think they're saying something to make me feel better. But it doesn't. Those are hateful things to say. You never, ever tell someone part of God's plan is for the better, they're in a better place. No, you never, ever, ever tell a woman that. Things you can say, things that would have been helpful as someone who's dealt with it. Do you need to cry? I'm here for you. What can I do to help you? I'm sorry for your loss. Unless you are offering some kind of help, the only thing that you should ever say is, I'm sorry for your loss. And offer a hug. Every woman's going to want a hug. But it's better than the other shit that is spouted. So for some of us, Mother's Day is horrible. It reminds us of the babies we never got to hold. Yeah. So to sit there and think that you're being nice, just know that you're not. Those are horrible, vile things to say, and all you're doing is internalizing guilt to that woman. You're making her think that she did something wrong, that she wasn't worthy of that child. And that's not okay. It is not okay. And the same thing goes for the dads. Don't ever say anything like that to a parent who's lost a child. I have a friend in Houston, and his wife lost a child. And I heard people, because I played, me and Darren played Magic the Gathering with him. I heard people tell him it's in God's plan. It's for the best. Baby's in a better place. No, that baby deserved to be in mom and dad's arms. And watching, every time someone would say that, watching him feel that pain again. But I saw it because I recognized that pain because I dealt with it. I offered him an ear to talk to and let him know that I know what he's going through. I can empathize. But to hear that, no. And some people will post. I've had other friends who've lost children to miscarriages, and they'll be like, "My baby would have been this old now." But most women don't do that. Well, that was just weird. I'm sorry, I just saw like this dust particle or something by here and here. That was just really weird. Like it had into. Sorry, weird things have been happening in the last few weeks. Anyway, please be careful and consider what you're saying to mothers who've experienced miscarriage. And dads, too. I know I'm focusing mostly on moms. Dads experience this loss, too. So, just remember, on Mother's Day, it's not just about the moms whose babies are here, but also about the moms whose babies are not here. Kind of a somber Mind of Mandy moment, and that's okay. We have these every once in a while. If you have experienced pregnancy loss, know that there are a lot of us you can reach out to. I'm just one person. I never got to experience a rainbow baby either, so I am that person that if you have never been able to have a child and just experience loss after loss, I understand. I'm a shoulder to cry on. There are I know thousands of women, if not tens of thousands of women just in this country, deal with this on a regular basis. So, like, not the same woman. That sounded kind of weird. I don't know the statistics. Let's Google that. Hang on. Google. How many women have pregnancy? Never mind. Let's stop this. Rate of miscarriages.
According to data overview, miscarriage is a sudden loss of pregnancy before the 20th week. About 10% to 20% of known pregnancies end in miscarriage.
So, 10 to 20% of all pregnancies end in miscarriage before the 20th week. Think about that. So many women just prayed to get to the point of viability. Just 24 weeks. So, keep that in mind. that means that if it's 10 to 20% of women in this country have experienced a miscarriage. They've experienced a loss of a child. And that is a loss that no parent ever wants to go through. So, for all of my non-moms, my moms who have never been able to hold their babies, you were remembered. Even if it's just by me, you were thought of, you were remembered. So, that's all I have for this week. I guess I'll talk to y'all later. Toodles.